Hello, in this video, we are going to learn how to use accrued interest at maturity function in Power BI. This function will allow us to calculate the accrued interest for a security that pays interest at maturity. Before we implement this function in Power BI, let's try to understand what this function means with some definition and also with the help of simple example in Excel. Here we have the definition and the syntax. Returns the accrued interest for a security that pays interest at maturity. Syntax ACCRINTM, and it takes 5 parameters, the last one being optional. Issue, that is the security's issue date. The maturity is the security's maturity date. Rate is the security's annual coupon rate. The par, that's the face value or the par value. Basis, and which is optional. And it takes inputs from 0 to 4. Basically, it will help us to determine how the day should be counted. And return value, that's the accrued interest. And we have some remarks as well, and also the formula to calculate the accrued interest at maturity using a formula here. And if I scroll down a bit here, I have an example. So let's take this example, and first let's try to calculate this function in Excel, and later let's try to do the same thing in Power BI. Here I have all the data. We have the issue date, the maturity date, coupon rate, and par value. And to the right, we have the formula which we can use to calculate the accrued interest at maturity. So now first let's try to use this formula. So accrued int m is equal to par times rate into a divided by d. So what is a? Number of accrued days counted according to a monthly basis for interest at maturity items. The number of days from the issue date to the maturity date is used. D, annual year basis. So now let's try to calculate the a. That's the difference between the maturity date and the interest issue date, and the D, annual year basis. So let's assume it's 365 actual. And now let's calculate this manually here. Equal to, we have the par value, that's 100 times the coupon rate times A divided by 365. So $2.05. So this is how we calculate it manually. Now let's use the built-in function accrued_m. We have the issue date. The settlement date is nothing but the maturity date here, and the coupon rate, par value, and we'll use the third one, actual 365. And we have the results here. So this is how we can use the accrued_m function or accrued interest at maturity function in Excel. Now let's try to do the same thing in Power BI. So I have the data here. So it has issue date, maturity date, coupon rate, and par value. Now, if I go to the report, I have a card here. And now what I'm going to do is calculate using a measure. Let me create a new measure here. And call this as accrued interest at maturity equal to ACCRINTM. So I'm going to use selected value function. And we have the first parameter is the issue date. Issue date. And then the maturity date. And then the rate. And the face value. And then the basis, I'm going to use 3, that is actual 365, and hit enter. So now let me change this to $, and maybe 2 decimal places. Bring this to the card here. So 2.05. This is exactly what we got in Excel as well. So this is how we calculate the accrued interest at maturity, or ACCRINTM function in Excel and in Power BI. I hope this video was helpful, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also share with your friends or colleagues. Okay, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.